mac and cheese. One of my favorites. Let's get started. I'm going to do things a little bit differently because I'm going to make it so that you can adapt it to a gluten-free lifestyle. So, but the stuff I'm going to eat, it's going to have some gluten in it. Start off with some heavy cream. I'm going to go with a quart. And we'll bring this up very slowly. And actually, we're going to do everything in this part very, very slowly. Okay, the cream is just starting to show some signs of life here. Just starting to come up to temperature. You see little wisps of smoke here and there. This is what we want. I'm going to back down on the heat just a little bit, and we're going to start adding cheese. For cheese, you need an easy melting cheese. So I would go with, well, your standard cheeses, but remember, grate your cheese yourself, you know, with one of these. Okay, so I've got 3 cheeses. I'm going to use about 4 ounces of each. My first cheese I'm going to use, Emmental. Great flavor to it. Now, the big key, go slow. You don't want to do more than a pinch at a time. Well, that was 2 pinches, but you get the picture. Okay, we're going to give this a little stir. It's starting to, the cheese is starting to melt. You want to make sure each dose of cheese is completely melted. Okay, the Emmental is pretty much all incorporated. Going on with the next cheese. I've got Fontina. And same thing, let it kind of melt on top first, and then whisk it in until it's completely incorporated before you add more cheese. Okay, the third and final cheese, and I'm going to go about 5 or 6 ounces on this. It's just plain old cheddar. Okay, my cheese sauce is done almost. Let's give it a taste. Nice and cheesy. Needs just a touch of salt. Not much, but it also needs some pepper. I'm going to use white pepper on this. And I think I'm going to add, I don't know, a little curveball here. I've got chipotle powder. Just a little bit to wake it up just a bit. All right, I got my favorite casserole pan with me. She's been around for about 30 years, still going strong, and made many a casserole. Let's talk pasta. I'm feeling a little whimsical. Traditional is elbow macaroni, but I'm going with cavatappi. So this is a little undercooked. So it's going to have a little bit more of a bite than you're normally used to. But it's going to bake some more. So let's get our sauce in there. And just stir this up. Now, you throw some breadcrumbs on this, some extra cheddar, which I have reserved, and you got a pretty good mac and cheese. But I'm going to go a little bit farther, as I'm known to do. I was cooking the other night, and well, my wife and I had fajitas. I've got leftover peppers and onions from them. They're going to go in there. Oh, also, I just happen to have some leftover bacon from breakfast. I know what you're thinking. How do you have leftover bacon? Well, I can only eat a pound or two of bacon at a time, so you do the math. Okay, so let's get this in. This old girl. And get all that sauce in there. I think it's good on the sauce. I've got a little bit more left over. Now, the one thing is you want to pack this pretty tight because you want that to come out in one solid mass. So I think I'm going to throw a little bit more sauce in there, especially in the corners, because I don't want them to dry out so much. And corners are known to do that on casseroles. Okay, now let's get our toppings on there. Peppers and onions. The bacon. And the cheese. And this is going into a 350-degree oven for about 20 minutes or so, just until it's nice and bubbly. Okay, now let's talk our gluten-free option. The problem I have with gluten-free pastas is they tend to have a slimy texture to it that I don't care for. And a lot of times that is from the xanthan gum that they use as a binder. I found this stuff called Banza. It's made out of chickpeas. So it's not too bad. Doesn't taste overly like chickpeas, but it's still pretty good. Let's get our sauce in there. You did notice that I did make the sauce gluten-free, right? Okay, now that's going in its own pan. Okay, we're nice and bubbly. Let's serve this up. I'm gonna take from the cavatappi because I like the cavatappi. All right. So here are two different versions of mac and cheese. I made a gluten-free sauce and also a gluten-free mac and cheese. And this stuff with gluten. We like gluten sometimes. But for those of you who don't, we have this. I'm Chef Terry. I'll see you next week.